Spoiler alert, this was not fun. I wanted to throw a tantrum. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel La Fraise. I'm Noémie, I'm a student in costume making here in Brussels, and this week I am showing you, well, I'm not showing you everything I've made in the last season. I'm going to chat you through everything I've made in the last season, but I think we need to start with the elephant in the room, which is that I'm going to tell you what you should not do, which is sew 36 pieces in 6 weeks. Spoiler alert, this was too much, this was not fun. To this day, so after those 6 weeks, I left on a 3 weeks holidays, have been back for a week, and I still do not want to sew. I had to sew tea towels because we had bought fabrics to give tea towels to friends as a souvenir back from our trip, and just sewing up the tea towels, I wanted to throw a tantrum from having to get my machine out. And yes, sewing has been a real struggle, which is bad because school is starting soon. I mean, as you're seeing this, we are early September and school is about to start. Like, it's back to school time. And school is sewing for me. So we're going to start with the big lessons I've learned. I feel like it's a lesson I have to relearn. And I think it's because I have fond memories of having a week off at work and being like, I'm going to sew as much as I can and do that and you know, sew like 5 things in a week, and it's fun. Here, between the moment school ended and the moment we left on our trip, there was a 6 week. Technically, it's a month and 10 days. And so I had a month and 10 days where I was not at school, not on holidays. So I had all this free time. And what did I think would be a great thing to do? Sew like crazy, film like crazy. So I would, you know, sew kind of all day, film at the same time. If I needed to film a sit-down video, I would do it in the morning while I was still fresh, and then in the evening I would edit until super late, and I did that on repeat, and it was awful. I think on the moment you are pushed forward by the excitement of seeing everything you're producing and everything you're filming and everything. I can now tell you that it was not a good idea. I am now still really feeling totally hungover from this sewing period. The main bulk of everything I've sewn this summer were the t-shirts I've made for my t-shirt series, and I'm very happy with this series. And it's also, you know, now I'm in the comfortable position where I have a lot of pre-filmed videos. It meant I could go on holidays, know that stuff were pre-filmed and ticking along on their own. So, you know, I'm grateful that I've done it, but at the same time I like don't want to see my machine at the moment. It's a bit of a tough situation. So now that this has been addressed, that I officially say in front of witnesses that I don't think it was a good idea, that I don't want to do this again, and that I will aim to do better, that I want to sew less and sew better and not sew volume. Not that all that has been said, I think we can start and not show you a lot of things. Actually, there's lots I can't show you, but I will talk you through everything, and I will show you everything I can, obviously. We're starting this list with the fact that I have made 4 toiles for Bikini, which is one of the drag queens in Kinky Boots, which is a musical I'm dressing as part of my work internship for school. So this was a really fun project. The video is coming up soon, and I have 4 toiles. I don't have a final project, and this is where the story ends, because in the end we went a different path and we bought a costume for her that was fully made, and we didn't use my toiles. So I have learned a ton. There's a video coming of me making those 4 toiles, but it kind of stops there. I still wanted to count it. Okay, you can vote. Please let me know. Do those 4 toiles count in my end of year roundup of everything I made? For example, I made underwear that I will talk about quickly here. I will remove those from my final count of garments because I don't want to boost my number artificially. But so how do the 4 toiles fit? I think I will remove them from the list because they didn't end up being a finished project. But what do you think? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, you know, it's like my final roundup. We count it as we want, but I'm curious what you would do in this situation. Like, it's 4 toiles, so it's a lot of work, and I also like pattern drafted it myself. So a lot of work went into this, but I have nothing to show for it. First 4 items, nothing to show for it. Second item I can show you. So this has been kind of like my savior when I came back from Japan, because as I have said, I could not face to touch my sewing machine. I was really not having it. But I had this project that I had received just before leaving, but I didn't have time to sew it up before leaving, and this is entirely hand sewn by my little hands. This is a bag in a kit, so it's a hand sewing leather bag that you get in separate pieces. Everything, all the holes are pre-made here, and so you can just sew it by hand without any fancy machine or anything. This is not a partnership with the brand, but the brand Babylon Leather did send me this bag for free so that I could try it, and they are giving you 10% off if you are interested in having a bag of your own. It was perfect because not wanting to sew with my machine, I still want to have something creative going on, and okay, totally guilty pleasure moment, but I have a past as a cheerleader, and the second season of American Sweethearts, the DCC, Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. There's so much wrong with this show, but it's my guilty pleasure, so I did pay for a month of Netflix just to be able to watch that while stitching my handbag here, which is real leather, really fun to stitch. Like, really, that's exactly the mood where you're like, you have your show and then you can hand stitch and it's all quiet and it's all nice. So this model, I mean, I guess you can see it's a Birkin inspired shape. One thing I kind of regret, and I regret a lot about this, is that I didn't get the gold hardware. I think it would have looked nicer with the gold hardware on it. Otherwise, pretty pleased with the finishings I have done on this. I think it looks really nice. If you want the full Birkin look, they also give you the little lock key and attachment so that you can dangle your key there. I can't be bothered, guys. I need to access what's in my bag. That means I can't open a little lock with the little key every time I need to access my phone. Like, so here you just twist the front like this and you can open it like that. And that's already enough faff for me, to be honest. Could not do with the lock and key, so I parted with those. But this has been a fun make. I think it looks nice in red. It definitely is. My viewfinder going totally crazy? I feel like I'm blurry, but maybe it's my eyes. I feel like it's very grown up. It might be too grown up for me. What do we think? Can I pull this off? Actually, there's 2 notes I want to add about this bag. One, the tutorials are currently being translated into English, which is really nice because the tutorial for the blue bag I have done with Babylon Leather was in Chinese, I believe. I just muted it, so I couldn't tell you anymore for sure. I just had the subtitles, so I had to read everything. When here now they are translating it with an automatic voice, so now you have the subtitles but then also the automatic voice telling you what to do, and so you can hear and see what to do at the same time, which is very useful. I have asked the team because I was like, well, is it just for this bag? Because the blue bag, it wasn't translated yet when I had sewn it, and they told me they are currently translating all of the bags. So it could be that depending on the bag you choose, your video is not translated yet, you just have the subtitles, but they are currently in the process of translating everything, so eventually everything will be translated into English, which I think is a big bonus compared to the first time I did a bag with them. And I also wanted to mention this leather is very different from the first leather bag I had with Babylon Leather. The first time the leather kind of scratched almost when I was touching it. I think it's something I touched on in the video about it, but this one doesn't scratch at all. Like, it stays really pristine even if you touch it, rub it and everything, so that's very nice. However, the difference is that it's very soft, like the leather is very soft, so when you sew it, with the previous bag I could kind of pull like crazy without any risk. When here I saw that if I pulled too much, the bag the seam would really sag and like go and cut into the leather, which wasn't a good look. So actually it was easy on my hand because I was pulling less this time around. Last time, really hard leather and you could pull like crazy and it was fine. Here you had to go a little bit with a more gentle hand, which easier to sew for you. But so that's my learning from this bag, is that you kind of want to see, depending on your bag you choose and the leather you get, you kind of want to maybe be a bit gentle on your hand sewing and make sure that you don't mark the seam. I don't think it would be a really good look if the seam is really sunken in and you can really see that the leather is pulled in. Also want to say, in the kit you get everything. So you get the needles, you get the clips, you get the thread, you get way enough thread. Like you really get enough thread. I have this thing when I'm always worried to run out, and because that's a specific leather thread, like I couldn't just pop to the haberdashery to get more. So I was always very careful not to use too much thread. In the end I had literally twice as much as I needed. I think it's because I was being overly careful, but so just to say, if you use it normally you'll definitely have enough, because I have an entire spool of thread left, so I didn't need to worry. But you know, before I'm finished I'm like, what if I need more at the end and I don't realize? So I'm always worried about that, but they have you covered. You get enough thread. Okay, let's move on. Next is an item I have not worn yet, and there's a really good reason. I finished this in the spring. I finished this mid-June, and this is my Lazy Cat cardigan. Oh, I love the like woolen smell, so nice. This, however, sheds like crazy. I think I'm going to be covered in fuzz every time I wear this. I hope that kind of goes away with time. Also, saying this from the person with the most sensitive skin ever, but it's smallest amount of itchy. Like it's itchy level 1, but if I'm not in the mood it might already be too much. However, like in winter I'll have long sleeves, so it'll probably be fine. I hope it'll be fine on my neck, because yeah, no, it's all right. Well, yeah, itchy level 1. Like if you are in a really sensitive day, might not work out. I'm not going to talk too long about this one because I have a whole video series where you can see me making it, and basically it's perfect except for one detail here, which is that the ribbing goes up a bit. But you know, it's the first time I did a cardigan. It was the first time I did a half fisherman rib stitch. Like, I think I learned a lot and it was quite a challenging project. I'm very happy with how I've managed this, and I consider this as my trial/test version to then make a half fisherman rib for Francesca, and I'm going to make sure that the button band is perfect for hers. So yeah, really happy with this. I can't believe how much I've learned with knitting in such a short amount of time. Just takes a while and you need to find the time to make it, and it's also like very unpractical to take with you as soon as it's a bit too big. But so yeah, I don't have much to say about this because I've never worn it, because we were in Japan when it was crazy hot and it was summer here, so no reason to wear it. I just want to say, like, what a glorious color. It's really Noémie in a color. I know that lilac is so 2024, but I don't care. I'm holding on to the lilac. I don't care, it's from last year. I will take this trend and keep it with me for a while. So that's my cardigan, and I'll make sure to kind of say how it's wearing as it's wearing, because at the moment nothing to say on that front. Then there is the underskirt I made for school. I have to say, so I complained a lot about everything I had to make for school this year. In the end, I am pleased with my underskirt. I think giving it a bit of time to cool off as well helped. It took a lot of time. I was hand sewing the waistband until like super late the night before I had to hand in the project, and I think it's a lot of work for just something that looks very simple. And also I think it was linked with a ton of stress, because the waistband has to be 3 centimeters exactly. If it's 3 centimeters 2 millimeters somewhere, you know, you get dodged marks a lot. And you know, 2 millimeters you might not realize, because when you make your home stuff it looks like 3, like it's fine. But when your teacher is grading you and measuring everywhere, she's measuring in random spots, but quite a few spots, and if there's one where you're not at 3, like you can have 1 millimeter off, but 2, it's game over. And so I think it was a bit too much stress linked with that underskirt, which is why I had very bad feelings with it at first. And then also I really wanted to make the incrustation. I don't know what's the right word to use in this context. Is it the inset? The embedded piece, the incrustation. Incrustation is what we say in French. In any case, that little piece at the front that is embedded in the front of the skirt, I was really trying to have the white and the blue lines match up properly, and I tried, but it ended up not working because the angle of my triangle was not the right angle to do this with. It wouldn't have worked, and the angle of that triangle was something that was imposed by the teacher, so I couldn't modify that to make it work. So in any case, I was a bit sad that I couldn't make it match properly, because I first made it match, but then the incrustation wasn't lying flat. Should have taken a photo when it was matching. It was so pretty, but don't have a photo. It was matching for a few minutes, and then I unpicked it and redid it. Yeah, I mean, it's just an underskirt I'll never wear. It also weighs a ton because it's a quite thick cotton, and there's 3.5 meters of fabric in this. Like, the gather is totally crazy. And yeah, and I'm very happy with my hand finishes. I think I did a really neat job, and I think seeing the end result, I could see that I had learned a lot this year, so that was nice. Next up, we have my 2 Estelle tees, and the blue one is currently on the line. There's a lot of things I'm not going to be able to show you because they are currently drying, which I think is a testament of how much we wear the Me Made, and you know how the new ones are being liked and integrated in the wardrobe, so that's a good thing. Oh my god, I still have the cardigan flying all around me. This t-shirt is the Estelle t-shirt. I have made this as part of a test make for Sinclair Patterns. I'm really happy with it. I like wearing it at home. I like wearing the blue one at home too. But I have to say, I realized because I was going out with my cool friends and I didn't feel comfortable wearing it out with my cool friends. So I'm wondering if I'm secretly ashamed of it. I think it looks good when I wear it in videos. I wear it at home and I'm happy. I feel happy in it most of the time, but if I'm in a situation where I want to make sure I look my best and I feel comfortable and everything, I don't reach for either of them. And I'm wondering if it's because, oh my god, the underside of my fabric is white, and so when I move you can see a lot of this white on the side, and I don't love this. And I have this on my 2 fabrics, on the blue as well, so I think that's what bothers me about them, is the fact that you can see the white. Maybe I should have done them, I know that definitely it would have been better. I should have done them in a fabric that is tinted from the fiber so that it's on both sides the same color and not white, because I think that's not a good look. I don't know, I'm sure I'll still wear them because, you know, at home or whatever, but I have realized that outside I am less confident wearing those 2, which is a bit sad. Okay, after this it's millions of t-shirts, and I will not run you through them now. They all have the videos where I talk about everything. Like I think also, by the time this comes out, the last video is not out, so I don't want to spoil the last t-shirts, so I will not talk about the t-shirts. If you want to go and see the t-shirts, there's a whole playlist about them. There's a lot of them. I have a lot of comments. The other item is also hanging just there, so I can't show it to you, but I'll put photos, and it's the Brise dress that I have made for Francesca. What a beautiful dress. Like, even though the dress has a dark secret, if you've watched the video you know, honestly I don't think anyone can tell when they're looking at Francesca. She says she can feel it when she wears it. Other than that, no one knows. I think it really worked well. It's really beautiful. Basically, when I made the video where I'm finding patterns for you guys, someone said, oh, I would like a pattern to meet my ex but without looking like I'm really trying, so I need to look fabulous in a casual way. And I had found this pattern for that prompt because I was like, well, it's a jersey dress, so it's really casual, but it looks really good because it's cinched in at the waist, so it's flattering for any shape. When Francesca saw the video, because that's one of the ones she watched, she was like, can you make me that dress? And I was like, do you mean the dress to see your ex? Like, what are you trying to say? In any case, joke aside, I made her the dress. She loves it. She's already ordered a second one, and then someone in the comments mentioned, oh, they would look nice in a turtleneck, and she loves turtlenecks. So Maybe she's going to get an autumn version and a winter version, and God knows how many of those Brise dresses I'm going to have to make now. Francesca is very straight in her shape, and so actually she doesn't have a very defined waist, is what I'm trying to say. And so having this knot that ties at the waist really defines her figure in a really nice way. So the dress works really, really well on her. I also tried it on me and I also quite like it. I don't know if I feel comfortable enough to have jersey around my bum yet, but we shall see. And in any case, like, I'm making her a million other dress like this, so maybe I don't want to have this too matchy, and you can watch a video where I make it, obviously. Then we have everything I've made for the Japanese wardrobe. I will not show you everything because we've already talked about them quite recently for you guys, but I have made the tank top here that came with us to Japan, this tank top, so this is a linen, a cream linen. This one I didn't wear as much as I hoped, and it is because in the end I wore my Agustinas a lot more in Japan because I really enjoyed having my shoulders covered. Culturally, Japanese people cover their shoulders a lot, and also for the sun I felt more comfortable having my shoulders covered. So this one sadly didn't get too worn. I maybe shouldn't fold it and should hang it because linen hold on to creases really strongly. So yeah, didn't wear it quite as much as I wanted. I mean, I can look how many wears I have for this one from Japan. Yeah, I wore it twice, so not a ton, but I mean, I still like it. I have nothing against it. It was just maybe not the hardest player for this trip. And this one was a much harder player, so it's the same fabric, it's a cream linen, it's the Agustina, which is no longer a free pattern. The linen tank top is also not. So the fabric store, which is where those two patterns are from, just made all of the free patterns paying, which really sucks. Obviously that's their right to do so, but so this free pattern that I love is no longer free, sadly. But so Agustina wore it a lot. And then also this one, which is the one that was called the bandage top because Francesca thought the texture looked like bandages, ended up being my favorite. It has the little ruffle at the sleeve, so it's an Agustina as well, and I've just added a ruffle. And I thought it was fun. It was really breezy, very light to wear. It's a touch too see-through, so I have to be a bit careful what bra I wear under this, but still like really enjoyed it. And yeah, quite a surprise really, because I kind of thought maybe it's too wild a fabric and what am I doing, but no, I really liked this. So we have a surprise winner here, but I really liked it. I mean, you've gathered that now we are, if you've watched the video about everything I sewed for my Japanese wardrobe, we are getting into that week of sewing, so sorry if it's going to repeat a little bit. Then there is Francesca's PJ shorts that I've copied from a pair of shorts that she already had. Sadly, I've made them a bit shorter than the original pair, which was already really short, so she's complaining that they're a bit too short. But I'm sorry, they're too short, friend. I will make them better next time. Now we have a dark horse. These guys came to Japan. I wore them once and then never wore them again. What happened? So if you remember, those are linen shorts that I made for myself. They are based on the Arden pants, but I really wanted to make a flat front and an elasticated back, and this was such a huge mistake. This has worked for me in the past to make a flat front and an elasticated back, but now my hips have grown still, and the thing is my waist has stayed the same size for a while and my hips have grown a couple of sizes. And so mathematically, if you have an elastic that needs to hold on at your waist, which is very small compared to my hips, it just doesn't work because the elastic doesn't stretch. I mean, it stretches just enough to get over my hips, but not comfortably. And then it's fine at the waist. But so it's already like a really struggle wiggle to get into them normally. Now, I sometimes need to wear a belt low on my hips to support my sacroiliac joint. The belt is, you have to picture, like the belt is here, like it's very low on my hips. And with this being so tight, having to put it over the belt, it would push it up, I would really struggle to redress every time I went to the bathroom. Redressing with my belt and this being too tight, like it was hell, and I didn't want to live this hell during my holidays, so sadly they went at the bottom of the suitcase waiting for better days. So I mean, if I'm at home and if I'm, you know, chill and not visiting and I don't need my belt, they're totally fine. But with my belt at the current size of my hips, no way. Like, this was really not agreeable and really not comfortable. I knew what I was making them, that I should not do that flat front, but I was like, no, I want a flat front, I want a little pleat. I shouldn't have. I know now better, but you live and learn. Then I made 2 pairs of shorts for Francesca. This is the first one. The second one is hanging on the line because we're wearing everything I make. These ones I have copied from a pair. I'm talking fast because if you've seen the video, you know this. Copied from a pair of shorts she had beforehand. The one thing I learned is that when you put a button on a pair of pants or shorts, you should not align the button with the middle of the buttonhole like I normally do with other pieces, because the button obviously doesn't stay in the middle of the buttonhole. It slides like this, and when it slides, it reveals the top of the zipper here, so that's not a great look. So what I need to do with those shorts is remove the button and move it so that it actually is in the right place and keeps the pants not like this, but like here, so that the zipper fly is fully covered when Francesca wears them, because they're so nice. It's really a shame that they show the zipper when she wears them. Like, it's going to be such a quick fix and it's going to make the shorts a lot better. And the flower ones are based on the same pattern, so also copied from her shorts. I have just removed all of the darts, and because she doesn't have big hips compared to her waist, I didn't need to modify anymore, you know, it went up without any problem. So it's just an elasticated pair of shorts. I've made them a touch longer, so it's a little bit more practical. Originally she was like, no, I don't know if I'll take them to Japan, I don't know, so not so great. She wore them so much, like both pairs of shorts, she really liked them, but she wasn't too sure about the flower ones because I was making them just to use up the fabric from her jumpsuit. She was like, yeah, I don't really know, like they might be too much. She loved them. Very comfortable, they got worn a ton. So both shorts for Fran were a winner. Then there was the cherry undies that I've made. It was a tutorial I made for you guys. A few people mentioned that you can do a burrito method to not have the front finished the way I do it. Personally, don't like it more because you have a seam line as well, just like with my method, but you have a bit more bulk because you have 3 layers of fabric at the seam. Don't love that. So I showed you my preferred method, but it's true that it's possible to do a burrito there. It's really not too hard, and so something to look into if that's something you would like to do if you don't like the finishing like I'm showing you, which is fine. We can like different things. Then there are the 2 shirts I made for Francesca. So the first one here, which is no, it's not on the line, it's currently on her, so I am not going to go and undress her right now to show you the shirt. This one came to Japan, was really appreciated, was worn and great and everything. Now, the fabric is such a massive disappointment, and it's from the same brand from that shirt where the fabric shrunk on the second wash and the sleeves shrunk 6 centimeters. So I already had a pretty strongly bad experience with this brand, like shrinking 6 centimeters on your sleeves for a fabric that had been pre-washed. I still haven't forgiven the fabric for doing that. And now I'm pretty heartbroken because this shirt I've made with all of my heart. I've made some of the most beautiful finishes I have made, you know, on a shirt ever, because I have learned more and I'm more careful and I'm making stuff better. So it was one of my best shirts ever, and the fabric has peeled where her backpack was rubbing on her back, and there are pulled threads everywhere, and it's just sad. Like, she's worn, like, this shirt is a month old and it looks so damaged already, and it's not going to have a long life because the fabric is going to fall apart soon. And it was a pretty expensive fabric. We're talking at over 20 euros a meter for the fabric, so pretty gutted with this one. This is a brand that will never see me again. That was 2 really bad experiences for such 2 expensive fabrics, so pretty sad with this. But the shirt did great. She wore it in Japan and loved it, so I did a good job, but the fabric didn't. But that's still this one, I'm not going to lie, it's quite a bummer, but let's move on. So that first one was an Elisa blouse, and that second one here that I'm showing you is an Estee shirt. It's from a Belgian brand who sent me the pattern for review. As part of my shirt series. I have made this first one here, and I have to say I am concerned by how oversized the model is, so I am hesitating as to whether I will make the proper shirt version for myself as part of my shirt series, because it's just so big and I don't know if I want something quite so oversized for my wardrobe. So I still need to think about that, but the one I made here for Francesca, it worked well. Hopefully it didn't shrink. She didn't take it to Japan, but she wore it before and afterwards since, and she likes it. So I think we can also give a thumbs up to this shirt. By the way, the brand is giving you 20% off if you use the code that is down below. I'm not getting any cut out of this. I'm not, you know, I don't have any affiliate link or anything. This is really just from the brand to you. Let's move on to the last piece for today, which is another piece that has not been worn, but it's not that I don't love it. It's my Cabarita. Every time I was reading the name of this swimsuit, I wanted to be like, I love it when you call me Cabarita. You didn't need to hear that. This is the Cabarita swimsuit. I really love it. I'm a bit upset. I have a little tuck in the back here, and then the back is not finished as nicely as I would have liked it, but I was struggling to make this opening here. I learned a ton doing this swimsuit. I really like it. I love that it's not too cheeky on the bum. I find that in this day and age, it's quite hard to find a bum that is not too cheeky, and I don't want to have too much of my bum on show. And yeah, love the swimsuit. It makes me very happy. Good vibes, doesn't reveal too much boobs. I feel really good in it. The reason why it wasn't worn is that we were all the time in onsens in Japan, and that's Japanese spas, and you are going in there naked. And at one point we're like, let's go and check out the pool. So I put on the swimsuit, we arrived, it was full of kids playing, screaming, and we're like, the onsen is just so much more chill. So we removed the swimsuit and went back into the onsen. So I wore the swimsuit like 3 minutes, the time to walk to the pool, to analyze the situation, see that we didn't want to stay there, and to leave. So the swimsuit hasn't got worn in a body of water yet, but I'm excited for the day it's going to happen, and I still like the swimsuit. It's not fault of the swimsuit that it hasn't been worn yet. Okay, let me quickly talk about what I'm going to sew next, and then I will leave you. First, I am not putting pressure on myself because I have sewn enough. This season was totally crazy. I am never doing that again. I'm repeating it also to convince myself. And also I don't really know how much time I'm going to have to sew for myself this season because school is starting, so obviously I'll have to sew for that. And Kinky Boots is on stage end of November, so I will have to sew for that as well and work for that and putting hours for that. So I currently, what's sure is that I'm sewing 2 boxing robes and 2 boxing shorts for Kinky Boots. If you know the show, you know where the boxing is happening. And I'm also making one of the dress for the main character Lola. One we couldn't find, so we've bought most of the costume, but one dress we couldn't find exactly what the producers were after, and they are really keen on staying very true to the London cast and the look of the London costumes. So because of that, because we couldn't find something similar online or in a shop, I'm going to make this one so that we have a costume that really matches the look of the London show. So that's what's happening with Kinky Boots. What's kind of sure, but I don't want to promise anything because again, totally over everything. But I think what's coming for me now is the bras I'm going to start making for my lingerie series. So that's exciting and hopefully it's fine. So bras. I would really like to make my swimming pool bag. I have it all cut out, so it's ready to go. So I think it shouldn't be too long to make. So my bag to go swimming. I also want to make myself a new school case. You've probably already seen this little friend here, but I really don't enjoy taking it to school because the case is obviously a hard case. It takes all of the bottom of my school bag, and so when I put my sewing project on top, there's often no space, and if I have to put my lunch, forget about it. And I have such a big bag. So what I want to make is a pouch, you know, like a zipper pouch that would have all of my school kit inside so that it could be smaller than this hard one, and then hopefully I can fit everything into my bag and I don't need to have my massive backpack and also like tote bags and everything. Maybe I'll still need tote bags depending on how big our projects get, but at least if it's not a big project or everything, like it maximizes my chance to gain a bit of space in my bag. This takes too much space, so I do want to make a new case for school. What else is coming? I'm making more shirts, but the rest I'm not putting too much on my list. I'm trying to go with the flow. That's not natural for me, but I'm trying to see what I want to make and to follow that. In any case, I will have to just do whatever I need to make for school and whatever I need to make for Kinky Boots. So that's probably what the next season is going to look like anyway. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for watching this video until the end. If you are still here, it means a lot that you watch the whole thing. I want to thank Sarah, who tipped me quite a few coffees, so thank you so much. It means a ton. It's really, really appreciated. So thank you, Sarah. And otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to give me a big like. It's always a great support. Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I will see you in the next one. And don't forget that you can make anything. Bye. Dallas. No, it's American Sweethearts. I can't say that word. American Sweethearts.